Hi guys, and welcome to Drinks and Design. Today we're talking about the Screaming Frenzy Meritage from Black Swift.
All right, so first things first, we have to pour it. So let me just crack this open.
So, with a name like Screaming Frenzy, some of you might be wondering what that actually is. And it is, in fact, inspired by a natural phenomenon. So, a Screaming Frenzy is something that only happens in British Columbia and occurs when the ever-mysterious Black Swift congregates in our skies. This rare occurrence only happens once a year, and like the wine itself, is a marvel to encounter. So that gives you some idea of what their inspiration was behind this particular line of wine. It's supposed to be unique and wondrous to behold, and also kind of, I imagine, a little bit crazy. So right off the bat, yes, cheers.
Cheers.
Right off the bat, we have a very dark cherry color.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys probably can't see that, but
It looks pretty black.
it looks pretty dark in there. But if you kind of tilt the glass a little bit, I would say it looks like cherry juice.
What do you get on the nose?
Cherries, some spices.
Yes, a little bit peppery almost.
I also get like a little bit of like a smoky flavor.
Taste-wise, it's got a nice lighter medium body to it. Definitely get some of those cherry notes.
Yep. Yeah, definitely taste some cherries in here. I would also say vanilla. And that's where you get the smooth.
Yeah. And then, yeah, a little bit of those spices, that smoke. Just a hint. It's not super smoky.
It's got a little like a lighter start with a drier finish.
Yeah, you get some of those tannins right on the end. But it definitely has like a bit of a rounder middle, I would almost say.
I would agree. It's really tasty. Mouthfeel, smooth. It's got a smooth mouthfeel.
I'm going to go with round.
Or velvety.
Velvety's good,
Velvety mouthfeel.
Yeah. And what kind of vibe do you get from this one?
Oh, let me tell you. The vibe of this wine for me, this is the perfect bathtub wine. You want to drink this in a bubble bath with grilled cheese delivered to you in your bath. That is what this wine is.
All right. You heard it here, folks. Bubble bath with grilled cheese.
Bubble bath with grilled cheese.
Yeah.
100%. This, I would say, is a really good wine to drink, to pair with food. So cheese, meat,
Yeah,
charcuterie.
it's not quite a sipper
obviously.
on its own. But probably you wouldn't want it with something super heavy either. It's not quite a robust enough red to go with like a really heavy meat meal.
Yeah.
But yeah, like charcuterie, lighter fare.
Chocolate.
Yep. Be very good with chocolate.
Really good with chocolate. There's, you can taste a little bit of chocolate in there. There's Knight's chocolate that has dark chocolate and cherries in it. Oh, that would be so good with this
That
wine.
would pair really well with this.
So
yes.
good with this wine. So just before we pop over into branding and chatting about the label, this wine is a blend of 38% Merlot, 21% Malbec, 19% Petit Verdot, hopefully I said that right, 14% Cab Franc, and 7% Cab Sauv. So really great little Meritage. All right, Heather, should we talk about branding?
We should. So let's just talk about Screaming Frenzy as a whole for a moment. It's a particular line from Black Swift, and it's a whole bunch of different types of wine, reds and whites, but they're all part of the Screaming Frenzy series. They all have very similar labels, with the Black Swifts carrying something, in this case a Stegosaurus. And all the artwork is done by Paul Morstad, who also does the illustrations for the Hatch winery labels, which is actually part of the same umbrella as Black Swift. So they'll look quite similar to anyone who's familiar with the Hatch. Mm-hmm. The label itself has sort of a toned down palette to it color-wise, and that along with the slab serif font that they use gives it a little bit more of an old-timey feel, sort of vintagey. They also have these really nice labels that are like a little thicker and a little textured, which gives it a little bit more of a high-end feel.
Very, very true. In terms of brand voice, they're fun. I would also say a little bit edgy. If you read some of the content on their website or even their social pages or even on the back of the bottle, it's fun, and when you're reading the content, you can't help but smile.
Yeah, something that calls itself Screaming Frenzy obviously doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yes. Yeah, they definitely, I think they classify themselves as rule breakers, so we're going to jump on the train and say that they're a bit of a rule breaker in terms of the wine industry. They challenge the status quo a bit, and they create something fun, exciting, engaging, and they kind of rebel against the typical, let's say, professionalism of the wine industry, or like
almost the snobbery of it.
Yeah,
it's definitely meant to be more approachable, friendlier, a little bit fun and humorous.
So one additional element of their branding, in addition to like the brand voice, is they have these small elements of delight, or Easter eggs, if you will, which I think is really awesome within a brand. Whether it's through like the content on their bottle or on the website, on their social. For example, at the bottom of their website, in the copyright section, usually that is an area for the web developer to plug themselves, basically, and provide a backlink to find them. And on the bottom of Black Swift's website, it says, "In Grayson we trust." And I just think that is such a great little element of delight, and it made me smile. So a brand that can do that and work in those elements of delight and those Easter eggs within their branding, within their content, even in those small little sections that not everybody would notice, I think is really special.
So in terms of the Black Swift brand overall, there's actually sort of two sides to it. So there's this Screaming Frenzy line, which is a little sillier, a little more whimsical and humorous. And then they have their sort of more, what I would call their high-end label, the Black Swift label. It's very different from these. It still has a little bit of the illustration, but it's a lot more toned down. It's more just of a nest. It's got a very different font. It's very cursive, very elegant. So there's really like two sides to this brand that are quite different and have very different target markets. Overall, their brand aesthetic at the winery is much more modern as well than, say, one of their sisters wineries like the Hatch, which is quite more rustic.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting brand in that it has these two sort of streams and audiences that it's going after. All right, so to wrap up, Screaming Frenzy 2017 Meritage from Black Swift. It is a little bit cherry, medium-bodied, hints of spice, nice tannins on the finish. Overall, a very approachable red, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. And then in terms of branding, they are very edgy, they're fun, a little bit rebellious, they challenge the status quo, and you can see that throughout their artwork. You can see it within their brand voice as well as on their social channels and everywhere online.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Do you want more great drinks and design related content?
Find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Follow, like, subscribe, and comment.
Cheers.